Good afternoon, Raider Nation. What's going on? Are you ready? Let's have some fun this afternoon. First live show in a while. Let's start this shit. What's up, everybody? How we doing today? So it's been a while since I've done a solo live show. So I was just kind of in the mood today. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Set it up, do a 1 o'clock afternoon show, maybe for an hour or so, maybe a little more. We'll see what happens. Longer wait time than that Raiders shit. Sorry, guy. Yeah, so it's been a while. So I figured, you know what? Haven't interacted with people on a solo basis in a long time as far as the chat goes. As it says in my description for this show, that, without you as the followers and the supporters, subscribers, members, I wouldn't be anything. I wouldn't have a show like I do. I wouldn't have the following. I mean, I fire it up and right away, boom, 4 people come rolling in. I know someone else is. I know Gravy's got a show going on right now too. So it was scheduled for 1 o'clock, but not Bueno told me that hey, the Raiders are doing a press conference at 1. I didn't know that, so I'm like, all right, well, I'll watch that and then I'll move the time back on this. So I wanted to move back to 1:30. So a few minutes late. Wanted to go out, get a cigarette, get my new iced coffee. So I'm good to go now. So let's hit the channel up real quick here, see who's here. So I know Not Bueno's here. What's up, brother? Jason Downs, what's going on, brother? Robert Pena's in the house. What's up, Robert Pena? Rosetown, what's up, my man? Let's see, who else is in here? Raider Paul's in the house. What's up, Raider Paul? Mr. Brian, how you doing, Mr. Brian? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the show. First time I think I've seen you here. So if you're new, you like what's going on in this channel and what we're talking about, hit that subscribe, hit the notifications. For just this reason, woke up this morning, wasn't planning on doing this, and then about an hour and a half ago, I'm like, yeah, screw it. I'm going on today. So I tend to do these pop-ups every now. It's been a while, but I definitely do that. So yeah, the press conference today. I mean, I thought there was going to be more than just the Geno thing, but I'm glad. It shows that he's part of Raider Nation now. He came out wearing the right colors. At least he didn't come out wearing fucking blue or green or red, or he came out in point black Raider colors. Gray, black. The hat was pretty cool. I like the hat. Kind of reminds me of the club hat that I have on. I appreciate you, Mr. Brian. Thanks for subscribing, man. Yeah, so I mean, it was a good press conference. I thought, you can see that he's comfortable up there. Obviously, I can't imagine he wouldn't be coming back here to be with his former head coach in Seattle. So I'm happy for him. I'm liking the direction the team's going in. I don't know how many people still are comfortable or happy with the direction. I like it. Pete Carroll's a hell of a coach. I mean, there's no denying that. I mean, he's shown his medals through the years, whether it be in the college ranks or in the pro ranks. I mean, he's the guy I wanted as our head coach, to be honest with you. If we weren't going to get, I know I was pushing for Vrabel, but as soon as they fired Mayo, I knew that Vrabel was not even going to bother interviewing with us. He was going to want no part of this because he was going to want that New England job. So, I mean, that was a no brainer. You know, at that point, then I was like, you know what, it's going to be Pete Carroll. I don't want any new, unproven guy like a Ben Johnson, Glenn or some of these other coaches that were high, like the Cowboys. What the fuck were they thinking? I don't know. That's Jerry Jones for you, you know. Um, so yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with the coach. I'm happy with the moves we've made so far. I know some people are wishing we did more in the free agency, but let's face it, this free agency pool was not the best. It was super, super weak. Um, there was more hype, I think, or not so much hype, but there was more attraction in the guys that were cut. The first round of cuts there, just at the start of the free agency. Then I mean, let's put it this way: so Devontae Adams gets cut automatically. He moves to the number one free agent in the wide receiver group. These other guys had already been free agents for a few days. He gets cut. Boom, he moves up to the number one slot because he's the most attractive receiver on that list. You know, so it's like I don't know what people were expecting us to do in free agency. You know, fans will sit there and say, "What's up, Silver Smoke? What's up, brother? How you doing?" Um, people sit there and say we didn't do enough in free agency, but you got to look at the whole big picture when it comes to free agency. It's not just who we bring in that's new to the team that's going to be a helpful piece of the puzzle for the team. You could also look at free agency overall as far as guys that were already here in the building that we want to retain and re-sign them as a free, from being a free agency to staying with us. Um, so I mean, I think those were home runs in what we did there by keeping Kuntz, restructuring Max, re-signing Butler, shit like that. People, Palomar keeping him. People are so upset that um, we let Spillane go, we let Kuntz go, not Kuntz, Chason go. Mooring, Hobbs, Diablo. First of all, anybody that gets upset about losing Diablo, stop talking because he's not worth keeping. Um, so it's like I still think we kind of hit some solid, not not record breaking home runs, but we still hit some solid, home runs. I think with what we did in the free agency so far as retaining the players that were already on our roster and keeping them here. You know, so Silver Smoke. Let's see. Good. Hope you and the family are doing well, brother. Yeah, we're doing good so far, man. We're had a rough week this past week with Booster Club stuff, and I think it finally took a toll on me on Saturday. Where I was supposed to do the Saturday night show with Chris and Papa Rundown. We were supposed to do the last call podcast talking about defensive linemen and linebackers, through the history of the Raiders. But my body was just shutting down on Saturday. I just was not feeling good. My eyes were hurting. I just, something didn't feel right. And I think a lot of it was the stress that I had endured over the week. Um, some club related shit with the Booster Club. So, um, yeah, it finally took a toll on Saturday, and I was just like, I'm done. I'm done. I couldn't do the show. That's why, if you see the live feed from the show, it was only like about 5 minutes, and it was just me and Chris coming on and saying that, you could see it in my face when I was talking on that I just wasn't feeling good. I went to bed right then and there, like 9 o'clock that night, which is unusual for me. Anybody that knows me knows I stay up super, super late on the weekends. Well, actually, any day of the week. Um, but yeah, little after 9, I was on the couch, fully reclined and knocked out. I didn't wake up until like 6 in the morning. So I got a good night's sleep finally. Thank God. Let's see. My favorite out of the house free agency was safety Chin. Oh, definitely, and that's just it too. The other guys we brought in, we brought in Chin. Devin White, has a potential to be really good for us. Another guy that I look at him like Chase on. Chase on came in as a former first rounder, and he got new life, breathed into him by the way he played and performed for us. For the rest of the season, would have liked to have kept him, but it just wasn't in the cards. What are you gonna do? Let's see. I'm also excited about linebacker Rob. Yeah, and I still like Chin. I think Chin might be the biggest one that we signed because he's so versatile. He's not just one dimensional type position player. I mean, he can play a few different spots on the defense, which is good because we got a lot of holes. Especially in that secondary. Will return soon. I'm happy Seattle Super Sox. Why they're coming back? I didn't know that. I know they got a hockey team up there now in Seattle. What's up, Dixon Sider? How you doing, brother? Yeah, I'm back now. I'm good now. I was fine by like midday Sunday. I was feeling really really good after that. So, what's up, RR8? This could be a big if. Trey Tucker, Gino throws one of the best deep balls in the game. I as with his speed and everything. Yeah, I mean, I hope he is. I mean, we need that deep threat wide receiver. Especially with a quarterback that can throw the fucking ball like that. You're going to need somebody like Trey Tucker back there. So it's going to be nice. I can't wait till we can get started and just see what, this team's going to develop into for this coming season. Still got some pieces, obviously, that we need to fill. Um, Obviously, one of them being, the running game. We still need another wide receiver, too. We still need an offensive guard, man. We need offensive line help to solidify that offense. You know, to make it easy for whoever's coming in to be our running back. I know we got Moser, which is nice because now you got a speedster. So now you just got to go and get that big bruising back. You know, definitely, yeah. These are all spot stuff we can get in the draft. I don't know how many of you guys are in here that are fans of Genty. I am not a Genty fan. Um, I'm not saying I wouldn't take him in the draft, just not at number 6. I'm sorry. I just there's so many running backs in this draft that we could forego picking one at number 6, pick one later on, like second or third round, and we'll still be fine. Use that pick for a cornerback, the best linebacker available. Um, Even an offensive guard, but even the guards we can probably push to like the second round possibly. Offensive tackles, those are the bigger ones that are going to be going earlier. We could take a tackle at that number 6 pick, or what I really prefer to do is, unless a talent like Travis Hunter is there at number 6, I am totally for trading out of that number 6 pick, moving back and gaining some additional picks in this draft. Which, if you look at Pete Carroll's history, that's his history. His history is wanting to move back in the draft, get more picks. You know, just go and look at his past drafts with Seattle when he was there. He moves around the draft board a lot. He likes moving back, gaining picks, getting more players in there, breeds competition, especially if you get picks in the second and third round. You're bringing in guys that can have an immediate impact on this team even if they're not a starter, but they're seriously pushing the starters in practice to the point where it starts making the coaches go, we need to get this kid on the field at game time situations to, fuck around with him. Let's see what we got with these kids. You know, what's up, AR? How you doing, brother? So I know we get to, is it next week? I saw somebody throw a date out. I think I saw it on Gravy and Gabe last night. They were talking about it. Um, I think we get OTAs as early as next week. We get an extra one. Um, we get extra, not just one. We get extra days at OTAs because we have a new head coach. Whenever an NFL team has a new head coach, those teams are afforded a few extra OTA days. So we have that benefit this year, which is good because we're in such need of evaluating talent that we're going to need those OTAs so they can start assessing where everybody is in this, for this roster, where we can use them, where their best fits are, because this will help make some decisions leading up to the draft too. You know, we've got some serious decisions to make on current players on the roster that we're still second guessing whether we're going to keep or not, whether we're going to cut them. Like Jack Jones is a perfect example. Rumors came out this week and they were trying to trade him away. If we're not going to hear anything, if we're not going to gain anything, he's gone. I heard yesterday, I saw quite a few things with so many different people putting out there that they've already decided to cut ties with him regardless. Nothing's officially come out today that at least I haven't seen. I don't know if it has, and I just missed it. Um, but yeah, I mean, Jack Jones is gone. I'm sure some people aren't going to be happy about that. Some will be fine with it. I'm 50-50 on the Jack Jones thing, to be honest with you. Um, I mean, because he's got his moments. He's got his moments where he's just tremendous. Pick sixes and make some great plays, and then he's got other times where you sit there and watch and go, "Hmm, what the fuck was that?" Or he does something stupid and he gets a 15-yard personal conduct or pass interference call and shit that costs the team. That's just the type of player he is. Um, and he's like one of those gonna go for the kill shot hits too instead of trying to tackle and wrap up a play, which that drives me nuts more than anything. That's just the way the current NFL is with some of these players, especially in the secondary. They don't tend to tackle. They tend to throw their body and their shoulders in to try and knock the player down instead of trying to tackle them. It's like just tackle the son of a bitch because if you don't hit that guy right, he's just gonna glance off you and keep right on going. And now you just gave up, an additional 20 yards, or you gave up a touchdown. It's shit like that. Um, where he's gonna go, who knows? I mean, someone will grab him. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up here in fucking New England with the Patriots. I totally would not be surprised at that. Um, that's a team that's really improved. Is the Patriots? I'm curious to see what they do with their pick. I think they're number 4 pick. I think they got the 4th pick. But they've really got two major needs, and that's a wide receiver and an offensive tackle. So that's where you could see like Membu going, which is fine with me because that just changes as far as what's going to be there for us. You know, you said he's already burned his Patriots bridge. All right, so Silver Smoke said it's official. Jones posts on X. Thank you to Raider Nation. Huh, okay, good. Yeah, he gave up a lot more big plays than he made plays, but he definitely has upside. He definitely does. I mean, he's still young too, which is a good thing. I mean, that's an upside in itself, you know. But I wonder if he was just going to be too hard for them to control. Not so much too hard to control, but I think AP had an easier time controlling him because of where he came from. That's the only thing I can think of with that goes. Um, how did he burn his Patriots bridge, Jason? What's up, Chris? What's going on, brother? Um, but so, what is everyone else's thought process on if anybody that's in the chat that watched the press conference? I mean, I guess it really isn't too much to take from it. I mean, they talked about how he's happy to be here and just the normal bullshit stuff whenever you introduce a new player. I mean, there was nothing that like, ooh, that is interesting that he said that. There's nothing that struck me as, oh shit, that was awesome. Yeah, but was that the old regime though that cut him at that point? I mean, will that make a difference? I mean, I don't know. Now that's a good question. He quit prepping and late to practices. Belichick cut him quick after being a fourth round. Yeah, but again, that was Belichick. Will that change because it's Vrabel this time? You know? Oh, he was always a risk, Chris, for sure. That's what we were saying. I don't know if you were listening before you posted, but that's what I was just pretty much saying about him. It's like one minute he plays extremely well, has a killer play, and the next thing you know, he's doing something stupid where it's a personal foul call or something, or taunting, or something dumb. You know, always come out and do something that he shoots himself in the foot, or screws the team over in a way. But what's up, Jay? How you doing, brother? Um, I mean, like I said, there was really nothing special about that press conference. Um, I would have thought they would have actually discussed, brought up. I'm surprised nobody asked it, unless I missed the question. I'm surprised nobody asked them about Jack Jones, unless the press is told don't bring that up. It's just strictly just for Gino, and I'm surprised nobody tried to sneak that question in as to like what was the ultimate reason as to why you cut Jack Jones, because we don't like him. I don't know. Who knows? He does not fit the calendar. Oh no, definitely. I mean, they obviously wouldn't. They wouldn't. They're not going to keep him if they don't think he fits the scheme either. You know. But I mean, I wonder if there was also a hidden reason though. Was he doing something that we don't know about? Or, I don't know. Doesn't matter. He's gone now, so move on. Um, Jones was terrible at tackling. That's because of an issue. Yeah, and again, that's that. Like I just said, a lot of these guys, they nowadays, because they're so much bigger than they used to be as far as corners, so they try and go for that kill shot instead of wrapping up and tackling the guys. You know. Let's see. Jack isn't a Pete type cornerback. Pete likes bigger, stronger guys who like to tackle. Yeah, exactly. So we are officially, what's today's date? Why can't I pull it up there? There it is. So we are officially, as of this Thursday, we'll be 2 weeks away from the draft. So we're getting there. Three, what? The fuck does that mean? Three queer. I have no idea what that even means, Jason. Are you okay? Are you having a stroke? Chris, is he having a stroke? um, so we're 2 weeks away from the draft. So what's everybody's? It's my fucking thumbs. 3 weeks. No, we're 2 weeks out. 3 weeks? No, it's not 3 weeks. Which will be 2 weeks on Thursday. The first day of the draft's the 24th of April. I don't know what calendar you're looking at. Chris, I hope not. 17 days. What's up, Rosetown? Let's see. Who do we have now at cornerback? Bennett, Robinson, Holmes, Stokes, Devonshire. We can raise it thin until proven otherwise. And if we draft a guy who can contribute from the jump, I mean that's at this point. I mean, you're talking about the kid from Michigan is the number one rated corner that's in this draft. He should definitely be he should definitely be there at number 6 for us. I can't see anybody taking him ahead of us. I would kind of like to see if Travis Hunter falls. If he falls, I definitely all for taking him at number 6. With the intent that he's going to play corner and maybe occasionally get in there on offense. Sort of like we did with Charles Woodson. Um, it's either him or um, oh my God, what the hell's the kid's name? I totally forgot the kid's name now from Michigan. Um, Will Campbell? No, well, I can't. I'm drawing a blank on his name now, but you know what I mean. Um, so we'll definitely be one of those two if we're gonna go corner right away. No, Mason Graham is the tackle. Um, the other kid from Michigan, the corner. Grant's the other one from Michigan. Um, he's gonna go early too. We have hopes and dreams in our cornerback. Yeah, really. Johnson, that's it. Thank you. Will Johnson. I kept wanting to say Campbell, but I know it's not Campbell. I know Campbell's the LSU offensive tackle with the little T-Rex arms. Um, yeah, so I mean, and again, Campbell is right. I mean, Campbell Johnson is right up Pete Carroll's alley as far as size. He's a bigger corner. He's tall. He's solid. Um, Again, just this draft is just going to be so weird until you know because there's still no telling who's going to take what at the beginning of this draft. You know, yeah, you're talking Giad Campbell. Um, yeah, but there's also the other kid Campbell from LSU, the tackle. Um, this each pick is going to change how the rest of this draft goes at the beginning because there's so much heavy talent at the start of this that just one pick could fuck it all up for everybody else too. So I mean, is it going to be movement? If teams going to be trying to trade up to get it to the front part of this draft to get the guy that they definitely want? Um, I mean, there's going to be no run on quarterbacks like there was last year. Now, if anything is going to be, is I think you might see a run on running backs. Some of these guys that are second and third rounders might fall into the first just because out of necessity. Some teams might be like, this is too good to pass up. We can't take a chance of this guy not being here in the second round or even the third round, even though that's where they're slated to go. You know, and that could, what's up, Ray Love? That could force us to make a move sooner for another running back, or we could miss out on some of these other ones too. I mean, there's so many different scenarios that you could run through your head and do mock drafts on. Um, yeah, running back is going to be the hit of the draft, as Chris just said. I mean, that's where you're going to see, you're going to see runs like just picture like a fantasy draft anybody that does fantasy football. As soon as one owner takes a defense, that's it. There's a run on defense. As soon as one takes a tight end, boom, there's a run on tight ends. Because once the top 2 or 3 go, it gets thin, and that's what I think you could see happen with the running backs. I mean, there's probably like, I don't know, say like maybe 8 that are a tier above everybody else, and then it drops off drastically, but they're still good running backs and could still be starters in this league. But the talent does drop at some point. So if you don't get in on those earlier talent players, it's going to fuck you up for the rest of the draft and for your season too. Especially if you're in a situation like us where we have no running back room. I mean, our best running back just joined the team, and that's Mostert, and he's in his 30s already. So that just goes to show you how bad our running back room is the fact that guy we just picked up 2 weeks ago is already the best running back in the room, and he hasn't even taken a single snap from us, on offense. That's how bad it was. I don't need to tell some of you guys how bad our offensive, running back room was. Our running back room was trash last season. We got catfish by Zamir. It's supposed to be this next great running back that we're gonna have, and he's gonna come out and light it up. And so because of that, we're not gonna sign Jacobs to this contract that he wants, and we're gonna let him walk. and we bring this guy in that runs with horse blinders on that can't tell if he can move left or right. I still say I don't think his ankles work. Can't make cuts. Then McCormick comes into the spotlight, plays for 3 games, gets hurt. Granted, he was improving each game out of those 3 games. Looked like he had great promise, and then gets hurt again. So then we lose him for the season. Then you had Madison, who did okay. And then you had Amir Abdullah, who's again in his 30s, an older running back, um, who stepped up when he had to. Obviously, I mean, he was our only 100-yard rusher the entire season, and he did that. I think the last game of the season. You know, that's how bad the offensive running back room was. That's fucking pathetic. We can't even get 100 yards out of 17 games until the last game of the season. Come on. You can blame the offensive line all you want for that. I mean, when you got a guy that's just running into the ass of the offensive lineman, like they're like one of those, those construct, not the construction things, but the barrels with the water that are at like an off ramp. So if you miss the ramp and you hit the barrel, just water. That's what it was like. He would just run straight into those and just, you know, runs right into the fucking barrier or to the offensive line, like he's Diddy. Yeah, the running game was horrible. I don't think I've seen a worse running back room in NFL. Period. Not even like going like worse for our team. That might have been one of the worst in the NFL I think I've ever seen. It was just abysmal. It was disgusting. Our wide receiver room wasn't much better, to be honest with you. Even with Devontae, there was clearly a lack at depth at the wide receiver room. A lack of height too. That's for damn sure. He had these midgets running around out there in the secondary trying to be seen to throw the ball to. So I mean, then you lose Devontae. Jacoby ends up being like our number one wide receiver by default. Brock Bowers. Thank God for Brock Bowers. It was like him and Jacoby were the two, bright spots on the offense because there was nobody else on the offense that made you go, ooh, you know. I mean, if you include the offensive line, yeah, JPJ, Glaze, second and third round pick, you know, they were excellent. Zamir likes, what's he say? Zamir likes horses. So maybe he wanted to ride the O line. Pause, no, did he? It's so bad. Um, yeah, so it was just horrible, horrible, horrible last year. You know, it, I just don't know where anybody expected us to go based on that last year. I mean, we weren't going to win shit last year with that setup we had. Absolutely not. Let me see if I can. Yeah, there we go. Can you guys hear this? Tell me if you hear that. What's up, Raph? Just curious to see if that comes over on the sound. If you guys hear that, do you hear that? No, nobody saying nothing. Nothing. So, oh, you do hear it. All right, cool. Um, so what do you guys in the chat? What are you looking for in the draft? Like, what is your wish list for the number 6 pick? What do you want to see us do? I mean, I've been saying what I want to do. I'm fine with trading back. I don't want Shador. I don't want Genty. Um, I would take Travis. I would still take Mason Graham if they're. Oh, you probably hear the clicking from my mouse, is what you're hearing. Why is that volume so low? Trade back, get more picks. Yeah, that's what I want. Just don't forget, I mean, we did lose that third rounder that we picked up from the Devontae trade in order to get Geno. I'd like to get at least a second or third back to make up for that one. Definitely a second. If we're gonna move back in the draft, and someone else is moving up to number 6, um, then that's the goal. I love an extra second round pick. There's just too much. There's too many good players in that second, third round vicinity that we can get a part of. Trading back, Tyler Warren at 6. Really, uh, in the draft in general, O line running back for sure. Yeah, I mean, I guess I wouldn't be opposed to it. Not, I wouldn't take an offensive lineman at number 6, because what you're going to get at number 6 that's going to be worth anything is going to be a tackle. And I don't think we need it. We don't need a tackle right now. I mean, we're going to need one eventually, um, because Miller's a free agent at the end of next season. That's it. I mean, he's going to be gone if we don't re-sign him. So we're going to need somebody to take his spot at some point. Let's see. The more players is better for competition. Oh, definitely. I just don't want any more midgets or defensive backs. 4 defensive backs. Not one. I'm not even going to entertain that. You can put Glaze at guard. Yeah, but why would we want to put him at guard though? I've heard that before too. I don't know why people are so adamant about moving him out of that tackle spot. I mean, he played extremely well there at right tackle. Why would we want to move him? I'd rather bring someone else in that plays guard. Somebody that is used to that position. I think he's earned the right to stay at right tackle. I know there were rumors of moving JPJ to left guard and putting someone else at center, possibly Parham, which I don't. If we're gonna keep Parham and we're gonna start him, I'd rather have him there in the middle and then put another good guard on his right side. So your weakest point is your center. Unfortunately, that's not a good thing either. But at least you got strength on either side of him, and they can work off of each other to assist him as much as possible. Because he's small. He's small, but he doesn't have the tenacity like JPJ. JPJ might be on the small side, like height wise and everything, compared to some of these defensive tackles. But man, he plays like he's 1,000 pounds. You know. Let's see. I want to see Spytek and Coach knock it out of the park for the draft. I do too. And if it means trading back, I think that's a bonus too. Get more picks because they'll probably go to tackle after Miller. We do need a lollipop giveaway. No, we don't. We already got one. I truly think we aren't signing Miller unless he has a great year. I mean, this past season was rough because of the injury and everything, and especially with it being his left shoulder and him playing left tackle, that had so much to do with it. As far as it took him so much longer to come back from that injury, because let's face it, when you're playing left tackle, if you can't whip that left arm out to help, just to put an outside pressure on your pass rusher, just to throw him off base. If you don't have the full strength or mobility of that shoulder still, even though you're playing in the games, that has a huge effect. It definitely does. So stop moving these young cats where they are playing at their best. Leave them alone to hone their craft and be the best they can be. Facts, I agree 100%. You know, don't fix what's not broke. Like I said, Glaze earned that spot. He proved it all season long. JPJ proved all season long once he was in there as the starter that he belongs in that spot. Why would you want to move him? You know, I don't think it's going to make the offensive line any better by moving him. I think if anything, it's going to probably hurt or hinder your offensive. Hold on, hinder your offensive line without a doubt. You know, JPJ was working with Gino in Miami at Brady's home. What's up, Moval? How you doing, brother? I haven't seen you in a while. What's going on? Let's see. AI says, right, Chris. Both cornerbacks and wide receiver have one guy at each position. We can be confident in. Everyone else is mid at best till proven otherwise. Correct. Doing you gonna fight in the channel? You said we need a lollipop guild. Chris, what's a queek? A quack. Let's make our free safeties linebackers. We're gonna be fast. Yeah, yeah. Uh, yeah. Why not? Let's. Hey, fuck it. While we're at it, why don't we put Max Crosby on offense and let him go out there as a tight end? He's got the height. He's got the arm reach. That's for damn sure. He's got long ass fucking arms. Just throw it just far enough above his head, he'll catch it. You know, the fuck? Why not? While we're at it, let's let Butler play both ways. Put him on the front on the offensive line too. You know, so this draft is going to be interesting. You know, it's is it going to make or break us? No, I don't think so. Um, you're not going to make everybody happy. Raider fans are so finicky and so cranky. I guess you know. I can tell you right now, I'll fucking put money on this right now. Comes Thursday night, I know Thursday night, quite a few people will be on live. I know Nate and I, it's our Thursday night show, so we're turning that into a draft night show. Um, so Raiders Coast to Coast will be an actual draft party show. It's already our Thursday night to do a show, so it just works that that's draft night, day one. Um, so I can tell you right now, I can already see it. Someone, whoever's in with us on the channel, on the show, or even in the chat, someone is going to have an issue with no matter who we pick. Even if we move back, some people will be like, "Why the fuck did we do that? We should have picked this guy instead." It's going to happen. Someone's not going to be happy. You can't just people just can't sit there and go, "Okay, obviously they made this pick for a reason. They have their reason, obviously. They're in that position. They're the coach, they're the GM. There's a reason why they're there and where we are. None of us are GMs. We all think we are. None of us are head NFL coaches. Some think they are. Um, some think they're positional coaches and they're not. So it's like trust the process, trust the team to make the right decision based on their game plan, what they want to do going forward. And that's what fans of any team, not just the Raiders, fans of any team have that issue. Yeah, granted, sometimes they may be right, but I mean, fuck, a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then too. So yeah, you could possibly be right about a certain player here and there. The Jets fans are famous for it when the Jets have made picks in the past. The Jets are notoriously horrible at drafting. There's no two ways about it. You look back through their drafts, um, not so much the more current time frame, but you go back years ago. I mean, they've had some serious head scratches at their picks. Granted, we have too, but the Jets, man, and the Jets fans that would be in attendance, especially when the draft was in Manhattan at Madison Square Garden. Oh, good God! Because I have a good friend of mine that used to go to the draft every year, and this is before it was really a televised issue. Like it was on ESPN, but it wasn't given the highest caliber coverage like it does now. I mean, now it's like a major event. I mean, now it's ridiculous. It's spread out over 3 days, whereas before it was like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now it starts on prime time on Thursdays. Now it's all about the money and the commercial funds, and so it's definitely catered more now. But yeah, the Jets fans he used to tell me stories about the Jets fans. They go fucking ballistic. on some of the picks that they were made because they always had a huge contingency that went to the draft. You know, there's been times where he'd be waiting outside in line, and you can hear in the background bouncing off the buildings in the city leading up to Madison Square Garden. You'd hear like a faint chant of JETS, and it would get louder and louder. And the next thing you know, it's like right around the corner. And he said there'd be like 75 plus Jets fans that come walking around the corner in a massive mob chanting JETS, 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 Jets. And it just would reverberate off the buildings. He goes, and it would just echo for like ever listening to it. He goes, it was actually kind of cool to watch and listen to them because you could just hear them coming. But the Jets fans used to come out in force for that draft. Now they don't. I mean, they still show up. Like Raider fans show up for shit, but what the fuck you guys talking about? Oh my god, I'm skipping over that crap. I just clicked on another one too. I don't know about your OnlyFans shit. Yeah, right, Ray Love. Leave it to the professionals, man. And by professionals, we don't mean Jason and Chris doing OnlyFans shows. We're talking about the team drafting. Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Some people think they know everything about quarterbacks. Please. Yeah, 65K general manager, and we all fuck it up. Let's see. So far this regime is not causing head scratching. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, and you're right too. Woody Johnson with yep. Moval says, "Do you think the Raiders will let Jack Jones go for draft picks? He's already gone, man. They've parted ways with Jack Jones, so he's done. He's no longer a Raider." Yep, just like Chris said, he's already gone. Hit the road, Jack. See you later. Literally hit the road, Jack. Bye. I mean, is there anyone else you guys think we should be cutting? Oh, I know. Actually, that's a stupid question. I know there's a few players, and I think some people would want to see gone. Um, Zamir should be gone. No questions asked about that one. Who else would I want to see? I wouldn't mind seeing Parham going, to be honest with you. Yeah, Chris just said it for me. Parham. Zamir White, Parham. Who said it yesterday? I think it was it Rebel? Somebody was just like all up in Tyree's shit, like he's gonna have a breakout year, and somebody was. I can't remember who it was. I might have said Rebel by accident. It might not have been him, but Tyree is not gonna be what everybody thinks he's gonna be. I'm sorry. I mean, he just is not showing it to me. I just, if he hasn't got it by now, I mean, everybody he's a bust. I'm sorry. Deuce Gruden, you want to get rid of Deuce? Why you want to get rid of Deuce? Deuce Gruden of all people. Oh, what's up, PNW Mark? Yeah, I'm good, bro. I'm better now. I was better by like late afternoon yesterday. I think I just needed some sleep. So it just I was just down and out Saturday night for the count. Chris saw me and heard me when I talked. Even that, if you go back and watch that little 5-minute video that Chris and I put out about canceling the show, I watched it again afterwards. I'm like, oh man, I look like shit. Chris and I are gonna start a new show, Not So Lethal Weapon. And Chris is gonna play Riggs, right? You're playing Murtaugh? You're gonna blame Deuce for the fucking injuries last year? How can you blame him for it? I mean, it doesn't bother me one way or the other whether he's there or not, but how you blame Deuce Gruden for it? What do you think, he's sabotaging the team? That's fucking funny though. Let's fire him, Chris. I think Jason's gonna play Danny Glover's part. He's gonna play Sergeant Murtaugh. You're gonna play Mel Gibson's part. So, what do you guys want to talk about? What's new? What's new with you guys? What's going on with you guys? I know, like I said, I haven't been on a solo show in a while. Just want to know what you guys are looking for. I am. He was a real cop. No, he wasn't. Danny Glover was never a cop. Well, you better get a wig, Chris. There you go. He'll get you. He'll get you a mullet. You said mullet, not mallet. Remember that. So don't come walking out with a fucking rubber mallet. Yeah. What do you guys want to talk about? What's on your thought process for the Raiders? Give me some topics or something. What do you guys want to chit chat about? Get him a Joe Dirt mullet. Hey, could you imagine seeing Chris with a mullet? Oh my god, that'd be fucking hilarious. Actually, Chris, promise me for Halloween you'll wear a fucking go out and buy a fucking mullet wig and just wear it on the show. All right, ready. The schedule won't come out until after the draft. What's up, Rorschach? What's up, man? Yeah, it'll come out usually right at not too long after the draft. They'll make that announcement, um, and it'll be like a live reveal show, and just put the goddamn thing out. Why do they got to do that? Just fucking put it up there. There's only one date I want to know about, and that's the Raiders coming to New England because that hinges on so many things that we want to do here in New England for that game. So until we know that date, you know, the date, the time, is it going to be around the holidays? Is it going to be in December where it's fucking freezing cold up here? You know, is it going to be in September when the weather's decent and it's still nice and hot? You know, hell no, unless we make a bet. Oh, for the wig. What's up, nice? How you doing, man? Welcome to the show. Going to that Pats game for sure. You'll throw in the tailgate. I don't know yet. All right, Rita. Um, until we get the date, there's really I can't say too much about what we've because we don't have anything planned. I mean, we know what we want to do for it for the for the weekend, but we don't know. We can't really go up to a. I mean, because some people are like, well, we should already have all this planned out. You can't have this planned out. You just got to be realistic about this, which is part of this shit that I went through last week with the club. That means we'd have to go to the venues that we want to use and say to them, hey, we want to do a pregame party here on a Saturday night before an NFL game between the Raiders and the Patriots here in New England. Okay, when's the date? Oh, we don't know yet, but we want to possibly book it between um, September 6th till January 14th. Somewhere in that time frame, we'll be here for that day on that Saturday night. They're gonna tell you to fuck off. You can't go to a place until you've got a fucking definite date and time. And some people in the club are like, "Well, you should already have this scheduled." No, how can you? No one in their right mind is gonna try and pre-plan something like that. You know, so it's like, what the fuck? So until the date comes out, there's nothing we can do. Even the tailgate. I'd like to have a tailgate, but I will tell you this right now: if it's going to be in the middle of December, I don't see us probably having one. I don't know. It's too soon for me to say yes or no until that time comes. You know, I'd like to, but we're gonna have to wait and see. The pregame party, we've already got a location that we think we're going to be able to use. Or we got a DJ, so we're good there. It's someone in the club that's a DJ, so it's not going to cost us anything for that. Hopefully, if the venue works out that we want to use, actually, I could tell you because you're probably familiar with the place. Union Station Brewery in downtown Providence. That's the place we're thinking about having it at because one of the guys in the club, his cousin owns the place. Another one of our executive directors is good friends with the other owner. So we've got an in there. So which is why we're thinking about trying to have it there. And if we can get enough people committed to coming to that pregame party, so we don't have to put money out for food or have it catered, if they're willing to close down the restaurant for the night, but to the public, in other words, and leave it as a private event and people come in and they just order off the menu, they take care of that shit themselves. We don't have to worry about putting money out for it. It's just whatever people want to order while they're there. Now, that's the ultimate goal. And number one, we don't have that kind of money to be paying for all this shit right now. So, you know, I hate chat. I never really my thoughts in 5 words, then Jeff gets all upset. Well, when you type with your feet versus your hands, yeah. Let's see. In my opinion, our draft picks are an enigma this year. We have roster spots to fill, and I don't believe the other teams don't know what round we're going to select for our weaknesses. True. Just do not bring that Chevron, Mike. Yeah, that gas station shit, Mike, man. Understand, but for the game day, you should definitely know just parking lot is at a later date, so you know a date. Yeah. Well, in the years past, well, not so much in the years, but the last tailgate I went to, we were going to do one in 2020, but because of COVID, we couldn't do one because nobody could go to the game. The last tailgate we did was in 2014, and I was at that one, and we had it at that hotel down the street, or that motel, fucking Roach Hotel. Um, we had it there in the front parking lot, over on a kind of a good sized hill, looking over Route One as the cars were coming by. So we were able to like taunt the Pats fans and shit as they were walking to the game. But even from there to the stadium, it was a good fucking long walk. Like I didn't go to the game; I just stayed at the tailgate when everybody else went to the game because the tickets were ridiculous then. Because they were still in their they were still in the height of their dynasty and all that other bullshit. So tickets weren't cheap for that game. So we just stayed there, and that's a long walk from that place. It's got to be at least close to a mile, you know, and it's uphill. That's the other thing. It's up, it's a pretty good sized hill leading up to the stadium from there. Um, Let me see. I was at that tailgate. That was terrible, though. Wasn't that good of a tailgate, in my opinion. I mean, it wasn't the best. I will say that. We still had a shit ton of people at it, though. It was a good time, but it's too far away from the stadium. If you're going there with a couple of friends and you're just going to do a small thing and you don't, I mean, because you got to remember those parking passes for that fucking lot are expensive. And if we don't have that kind of money to cover those parking passes, because then we're going to need one for more, we're going to need at least 2 or 3 vehicles to get in there, and then we got to make sure that we're all there together so we can park side by side or side by each, you know, to set up. It's so much work to tailgate. It's just, tailgates are a pain in the ass, and then if we all want to go into the game, then we got to make sure we can pack everything up and lock everything up and get inside in a timely manner. Last tailgate I went to the game was in Buffalo, and myself and the club president at the time, we got into the game, and first quarter was already almost over because by the time we finished packing everything up, locking everything up, and then the line to get in and get out to, oh my god, it was a fucking nightmare. And where we went in, we had to walk all the way around to the other side of the stadium to get to our seats. So that alone took even longer. So it was fucking horrible. Uh, you already said that. Understand that for that game, you should definitely know. Just parking lot is not. Oh yeah, here it is. Oh man, yeah. Years ago, we threw that tailgate in New York, and it was freezing, and it was an amazing turnout. Cold as fuck that day. That might have been the Jets one because I know the Giants ones I've gone to were always earlier in the year. Like the last one I went to was Veterans Day weekend, and it wasn't cold, but it was windy as fuck that day. And from where we did the tailgate to where I had to go meet up with my buddy because I got a friend that's a Giants season ticket holder, and I get my ticket from him when we go play the Giants. So I wasn't able to stay at the tailgate because I had to get up to him so I could get my ticket. Um, but by the time I got to where he was, my face was all red. Everything over here was all red and windburned. I mean, my face was cracked. And again, it wasn't cold. It's just the wind was so strong that day. My hands were all fucking windburned. I mean, it was fucking brutal walking through that parking lot. Let's see. What's up, Walter White? I was at the ticket. That was yeah, that wasn't a good spot. It was a good spot, but too far from the stadium. Having a tailgate part at crack in is fine. I'm at work, so I'll check in from time to time. Oh, no problem, man. I don't know how long I'll be on for, but I mean, I'm at an hour now, so let's see. I think parking is different now from what I heard. I could be wrong. I have no clue. Um, I have no clue on what the parking is. I mean, I don't even go in that. I haven't even driven on that property in years. I refuse to go there. I won't even go to the Bass Pro Shop, the movie theater that's over there. None of the restaurants, none of that shit. I've made a pact that I will not step foot on the grounds there unless I'm going there for a Raiders game. That's the only way I'm stepping grounds on any of that shit. I refuse. Yeah, was that the New Year? I think that was like the New Year's Day game or New Year's game. That was a long time ago. If that's the game, that was a long time ago. Yeah, Jets Jay was the president. Yeah, I. If that's the game I'm thinking of, um, I think I was here. I was at Players. If that's the one I'm thinking of, it was that long ago. So that would have been like 2006. Was that 2006 that game? Because 2006 is when I joined the club, and we were still at Players at that time. Then that would sound about right then, dude. That'd be like right around that time. It had to be 2006 because '06 is when I joined the club, and the day I went to Players, we were at New York playing the Jets, and Jay and all those guys were down at New York. Yep. So that would have been it. Yep. That's it. That was that year. So yeah, that was a long time ago. Because the first guy I ever met from the club was Big Raider Dave. I don't know if you remember him or not. Big, tall, black guy. Used to be a cop in Providence. Um, but yeah, that was the first guy I ever met. Walking in the Players, it fucking like pitch black in there. There was like one window in the bar. It was dark as hell. And the first person I interact with is Big Raider Dave. Right? This big 6'5", 6'6", huge fucking black guy walking towards me in this black ass, dark black, no light bar. And I'm like, I'm either in the wrong place or I'm either in the right place or I'm going to get fucked over here. Something's going to I was scared shitless at first. And I'm no small guy because I had my wife with me too. I'm like, what the fuck did I just walk into? And then I saw the Raiders on his shirt, so I'm like, okay, we good because I had Raiders gear on too. I was like, my god, I thought I was gonna get shivved. I thought I was fucking done. Oh my god, dude, he's fucking huge. If you ever meet this guy, but in all honesty, he's the biggest teddy bear in the world. Nicest guy you could ever meet. But when you first meet him and you don't know him, my god, that scared the fuck out of me. Because I couldn't see anyone else in the bar. It's so dark in that joint. Oh, thanks, Chris. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for the new membership. I appreciate that. My guy, Chris Four Raiders. Make sure you guys get over to his channel, Chris Four Raiders. Um, Chris, you post your link in here too. Make sure you guys get over there, check him out. Him and I tend to do a lot of shows together too. So hit the subscribe, hit the notification on the subscribe, so you because he like myself will just out of nowhere just boom we pop on and do a live show. Um, Hit the notifications, hit the likes. You can check out shows that he's done in the past. I know he's got one that he wants to do. He's actually talking about doing one tonight around 4 or 5 o'clock his time, so he's Pacific time. Um, but if I know he was talking about doing a fan interaction or a chat interaction mock draft this week again. He did one last week too. But he's also my co-host on Saturday nights for the Raiders Last Call podcast on Saturday nights. That comes on at 9 o'clock Eastern time, 6 o'clock Pacific. On that show, all we talk about on that is Raider history. We don't usually talk about anything new related to the Raiders. Um, we were supposed to do one Saturday night on defensive linemen and linebackers. Um, but Chris, I want to talk to you about that. I think if we do it this weekend, um, either this Saturday or the following Saturday, we should do a show on the draft history of the Raiders through the years. Probably next Sat, not this Saturday, coming the Saturday after. The one right before the draft would probably be a good one to do. Do it on that, especially a few days before the draft, and just go through the history, the good and the bad. The Bo Jackson, Marcus Allen good, and the Jamarcus Russell shitty bad. The Leatherwood bad. Yeah, Raider Dave's still in the club too. All right. Money Chuck with the redemption. Why is he here? Oh fuck, he's a fucking member. Is he? Is he? I didn't even know he was in here. What's up, Arnie? How you doing? That's funny. Wait till the next time he signs in for sure. Well, he's got to be here. He's just ghosting right now. He's hiding. He's just waiting for me to say something about the fucking Genty. Oh, I just said the word. Genty. Genty. Oh, that's fucking funny. No drafting for Genty. We don't want Genty. Genty's bum. What's up, Steve Dillon? How you doing, man? Too much depressing drafts for me to watch. Yeah, but again, we'll cover the good shit too, though. We'll mix in some of the bad stuff. I mean, for the most part, if you think about it, I mean, the drafts weren't that bad, until certain eras. Let's see, we got Todd Marinovich, um, Jamarcus Russell, Leatherwood, Gallery. Although Gallery did have a decent career in the NFL, not all with us, but um, oh my God, what the hell's his name? Um, Ishmael. There's another one. Um, God, actually, you're right. We have had some pretty fucking shitty drafts. Darius Haywood Bay, fucking Stonehands, fucking Ricky Dudley. Um, oh my God, who's the linebacker? Who the fuck's the linebacker we had? We were in Oakland still. Shit. Oh my god, what the fuck was his name? What's up, Marcus Banks? Hey, Chris, I said that last night on Gravy's show. They were talking about draft picks. I said, you got to pick this kid. This kid should be our number 6 pick. Rolando McClain. Thank you, Steve. Yes, Rolando McClain. Oh, another barn burner of a fucking pick for us. What a fucking bum he was. See, Arnie's got the question. Jeff, do you feel like there is going to be true competition between Geno Smith and AOC 12? No. No, I don't see AOC beating him out. I can't see it. I, this position, the quarterback position, is Geno's to lose. So I mean, just the whole reason he was brought in. He was brought in to be the quarterback. I mean, they'll still probably have a competition for him because that's just the way Pete Carroll is. He's still going to have them compete, I'm sure. You know, but I think he's just going to do it as a, you know, just to appease people, maybe. Or to be fair, I mean, he is a pretty fair coach. He's not an asshole. Down for Genty, just not at 6. Yep. Arnie, Genty will be drafted by McDummy at number 4, so we don't have to worry about it. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Vrabel is the one that fucking brought in Derrick Henry. I mean, but they've got Ramondre Stevenson, though. I mean, he's still. I mean, granted, he's no Genty, I guess. I mean, I guess Genty would be an improvement over him for sure, but I don't know. I don't know. New England's a dark horse on this one right now for their draft pick because of what they need. You know, they need they still need a wide receiver and they need an offensive tackle, and they can get both of those at excuse me, at number 4. I mean, for us it'd be great because then we won't have to worry about grabbing Genty. So that's one player I don't want that would be gone. Now, if we can just hopefully get Shador Sanders out of the way before we pick, that'd be even better. And at that point, I think it'd be an A fucking plus 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 draft, no matter who the fuck we pick if we don't end up with either one of those two. So, sounds good to me. Arnie Connolly, Arnett, Abrams. Oh, yeah, you're listing all the shitty ones here. Yeah, they were all pretty bad. Pretty fucking bad. Yeah, definitely fucking McLean. God, he was a bum. Oh, McDummy ruins Hunter, and Hunter starts busting a Devontae Adams on this. Oh, yeah, I don't want to be here anymore. I mean, I think he will help AOC be better. I mean, AOC is definitely going to be one of the top backups in this league. There's no two ways about that. I believe that wholeheartedly. You know, that's why I'm glad he's here and that we're not going to. I mean, why would we get rid of him? He's a quarterback on a rookie contract, and he's a good backup quarterback. You know, do you think Zamir can turn into? No, not at all. I think Zamir should be shit canned out of here. It's just too much bad taste right now. It's gotta fucking go. See facts. Chiefs one time had a tight end named Walter White. Jeff, who is worst case scenario at 6th? Who is best case scenario? Worst case scenario, like if we do pick them, would be Shador or Genty. I think they're both not needed at number 6. We could go with such better immediate needs than those two. I'm not saying we don't draft a quarterback or a running back. We can get those both later in the draft. That's my take, and it has been for a while. Who's the best case scenario? Travis Hunter. Best case, Travis Hunter falls to us number 6. I would take him on a hot beat. Another best case scenario, just trade back. The name of my entry school was Walter. What's up, man? How you doing? Welcome to the channel. Appreciate you. You like that? It's the club logo for the Booster Club that I'm the president of here in New England. Um, Actually, in the description is the store link. So if you want one of these hats, it's in there. Let's see. This is the crazy thing, though. Guys who drafted like McLean, Gallery, etc., were surefire picks. The best at their position in college, then they suck with us. Yep, yep. Like I said, Gallery had an okay NFL career overall. Um, I mean, he wasn't like a complete bust, but he was nowhere near what we thought he was going to be. Which is unfortunate because I mean, he was just nasty in college. He was so fucking good, that kid. It just that long line of Iowa offensive linemen are always fucking good, man. At least in Iowa, they're good, and then they get to the pros and they just fucking suck like him. Who's our wink link on our offensive line? It's got to be Parham. I mean, normally I would have probably said Andre James, but he's going already. So Jeff Beskett. No, I'm not even entertaining that, Jake. Get out of here. Chris agrees. Parham. Jeff, if we draft Travis Hunter, how would you handle his snap counts on offense and defense? Easy. He plays defense primarily. Um, Let him get that under control and play that position well, and then we'll start talking about getting you some plays on offense. Um, I think he's a better cornerback. I think he'd be better used. That's that. I mean, we have a weakness at both, but I still rather have him in the secondary to start and then work him into the offense. And I say that because we can get a top wide receiver that's going to play wide receiver only for us. You know, you got to remember the more times he's out there doing both offense and defense, the more of a chance for him to get hurt. That's the other thing. Automatically increases just by law of averages, increases his chance to get injured. Being out there playing both positions. Do you want to do that with your first round pick, the number 6 overall? Put him in that situation where he's at a higher advantage to get hurt? No, no. That's why you stick him in one position. You don't let him pick it. You pick it based on your observation of what he can do in your system, whether it be on. You try him on both when you practice, at camp and everything. You try him on offense. You try him on defense. If he catches on in the scheme on the defensive side for faster, then obviously, guess what, buddy? You're going to go out there and play corner for us on defense. Let's stick you there for a year. Let's see how that goes. And then maybe going forward, we'll mix you in some special plays that we have, or, we'll get you out there, in other situations, you know, like if we have an overabundance of corners where we can play around with that a little bit more and a receiver goes down and we can move him over to be that fill in while that guy's out. That's the luxury of a guy like him. But right out the gates, it should be one position and one position only. We'll worry about the extra stuff down the road. Membu, Hunter, or trade back. If I had to pick between Membu and Hunter, I'm taking Hunter. If Hunter's gone, I still wouldn't take Membu. I would trade back. But you don't take a guard that early. We drafted him as a tackle that high. Decent career, but not a tackle. Yeah. Either Parham or Kappa. Choose one. Kappa. Well, when you say choose one, what? To keep or start? It, you could say you or Parham, Arnie, and I would probably say you. That's how much I don't like Parham and how much I think he's a liability out there. Huff was supposed to be the next Hall of Fame. Oh, yeah, I remember him too. Oh. Chris says 80% defensive, 15 offense, 5 special teams for Hunter. Wow, Jesus Christ, you're going to have him go 3 different ways? This kid's going to be dead. Fucking Chris trying to kill our investment. Jeff, what position group most worries you this year due to the lack of talent or depth or rational pieces? What makes me most worried this, if we're talking based on what's in house right now, running back room, without a doubt. You know, the funny thing is, Jason just sent me the picture of the screen or a screenshot of the Walter White Chiefs tight end from the 80s, 1980s, actually. You know, the funny thing is, Chris, Jason, where is it? I've probably got that card because I've got complete box sets from the 80s, pretty much almost every year throughout the 80s. I've got a massive football card collection, like just probably a few thousand of them. This right underneath me, I got this massive box that's just filled with football cards, and I got one, two, three, four, five. I got like another six more boxes underneath the bench on my right hand side, just filled with football, baseball. And then I got a few boxes over that way, just filled with fucking comic books from like 60s, 70s on up to as recent as like maybe 10 years ago. Draft is getting close. Yes, it is. What's up, Eric? How you doing? Desert Raider in the house. What's going on, man? Yep, 17 days. It'll be 2 weeks from this Thursday. Can't wait. Do I have Joe Montana rookie cut? Yes, I do. I have Jerry Rice. I have Dan Marino. I have John Elway. Um, do I have a Tom Brady? I think I have a Tom Brady. I have Phil Simms. Barry Sanders, Bo Jackson, Marcus Allen, Tim Brown. I've actually got full sets. It's in a book somewhere. It might be in one of these boxes. I got full sets of Raiders teams. Like I'll have like the 1988 Raiders full set. You know, of everybody that had a card done for them in 1988 and 87 and 86 and so on, going back and forwards. Because sometimes I would go to card shows and I would just collect Raiders cards. That's all I would buy. I wouldn't buy anybody else's. You know, so I've got like full sets of, team sets is what I used to go for. I mean, I've got hockey, baseball. I have some basketball, football. Trying to think of some of the other shit I have too. I have a lot of mix and matches of other weird, eclectic type shit. So yeah, I mean, it's the amount of stuff I had. It's shit that I never threw out as a kid. Thank God. What still bothers me to this day, I still have my original GI Joes. Remember the little ones when they first came out? Because my grandmother used to work at Ann and Hope, which was a department store in this area. RI Radio will know what I'm talking about. Ann and Hope was basically Ann and Hope was the model that the Waltons took to use to start Walmart. They came here and met with the owners of Ann and Hope because the way they had Ann and Hope set up, the Waltons liked the way that they had it set up, and then they adapted it to their needs and started the whole Walmart franchise. Yeah, Ann and Hope was awesome. The one in Cumberland, my grandmother worked there, my great aunt, my mother, my aunt, few of my cousins. I mean, everybody worked there. It was like the rite of passage on my mother's side of the family was you had to work at Ann and Hope. Well, my grandmother, she was a bigwig there in the store. So whenever new toys would come in, like the GI Joes, when they came in with the smaller figurines, she would be able to get these firsthand, like before they were even put on the shelves. So I'd go over the house and she would have all this stuff. And it was just awesome. I had the first run on everything. I got a massive toy chest out in the garage that's just filled with GI Joes and the vehicles. I still got the original tank with batteries in it, and it still works to this day. That's sitting. I think I see it. It's under a blanket over there. It's still over there somewhere, and it still works. Jeff, who's the worst draft? Who is worst drafted raider ever? Who's the worst raider drafted ever? Who is best? The worst is still got to be Jamarcus Russell. The best ever, Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson is the best. And people will say, well, we didn't draft him. Yes, we did. We drafted him as a supplemental pick. So, yes, we did. Which was equal to like a 7th rounder. We got Bo Jackson. Go figure that one out. Thanks, buddy. I have 2 complete pro sets of 89, 1 complete score set. I got so many fucking rookie cards. And I have them all in the real heavy gauge plastic, too. So they don't get damaged. Yeah, dude, Ann Hope is awesome. Yeah, grandmothers are awesome. G.I. Joes when they weren't trained. Yeah. I had a few of the big, taller ones, too, like the 12-inch dolls or the 12-inch action figures. Um, I had that 6-wheel vehicle, that amphibious swamp thing. I had the Jeep, that big ass fucking Jeep. That thing was huge. Um, my God, I had so many GI Joes. Holy Christ! The only problem is, um, some of them, the rubber band that holds them together, holds the torso, the midsection, and the legs. The rubber bands dry rot after a while, and then they just let go. And you open it up, and there's like you got like the upper body here, the waist is over here, the legs are flying around over here somewhere in the box. So some of them got separated that way. But yeah, I still have all the vehicles, man. Told you, as soon as shit came out new, I got it all. Yeah, rubber bands are a bitch to put back on, man. I've tried even getting new ones and trying to put them back in. It's like, fuck this. Just, I left them out there. They're still out in the garage somewhere. But yeah, it's, oh my God, just the talk about reliving your childhood. You just open something up, forget it's in there, and go, oh shit. Yeah. Like, I mean, what's this right here? Yeah, I mean, I could easily take like 10 comic books out of this box right here. It's fucking loaded with stuff. Wife always gave me shit. She goes, "Why don't you get rid of that stuff?" I'm like, "Why the fuck would I get rid of it?" I said, "I mean, shit's not going to be fucking not going to make me rich in the future, but it's still it's my childhood. It's stuff is worth money. I'm not going to say it's not. You know, it's just the market's down right now. It's not the market for it. You know, the market was back when I was still buying shit. You know, stuff was through the roof. You know, no, not so much now. You know, like for instance, like the Jerry Rice card at one point, I think the highest I saw it, and it was in mint condition because as soon as I got it, I put it in a case. It never got damaged. Um, I think it was, I think it was well over $100. Dan Marino was even higher, but they've all tanked. They've all gone down now, just like anything. You know, there's no the market out there isn't as good. You know, you would think that once they hit the Hall of Fame, that it would shoot back up. No, it didn't. It didn't. Not like you thought it would. It might have gone up a little bit, but nothing like it is. I had a Bruce Leroy action figure. What from? Oh my God! What the hell's the name of that movie? Um, oh my God! I can't think of the name of that movie. The Last Dragon? Is that the? Was that the movie? Yeah, Last Dragon. See, I was right. Jeff also has Minshew's infamous booger he bought in an. Yes, I did. It's on a piece of toast. You want it? Reprints cost the value. Yeah. Yeah, it did. Well, I think that, and a lot of it was it would just at one point there was only one card maker. It was Tops, and then Score came out, then Don Ross, um, and then Upper Deck came. I mean, you had all these fucking card makers, so it just diluted the market. When it was just Tops, the fucking market was at its highest. Once all these later, Jay, once all these other card making companies started coming into the fold, it dropped the value on everything else because it just it diluted everything. I mean, it, it just changed everything. And then Tops tried coming out with, you know, these fancy images ones, where they were kind of 3D look to them, and like if you ran your finger over it, it had like that scratchy surface on it, like the flare. There's another one. It just there were so many fucking card makers. Each month I couldn't wait for like the new Beckett's magazine to come out so you could thumb through it and see what prices went up. I mean, because there was no internet back then, so you had to wait for the magazine to come out, the price guide to come out, and like, you're highlighting and circling what you have from the previous book. All right, so this was Jerry Rice last month. What's he at now? Oh shit, he went down 25. It was shit like that. I had a whole notebook. I had it all fucking laid out, as far as how much each card costs. I had it written down, the name of the player, the card number, the maker, and then what the dollar amount was on such and such a date. The free time I had was ridiculous to do all that shit. Let's see. Yeah, Tops, Don Ross, Flair, Upper Deck. There were a few others too. Bauman wasn't Bauman one of them or something. There was one that came out with that name. But I pretty much every card maker that ever existed from the 70s right up until about maybe Bauman. That's it, Bauman. I say I was right. Um, right up until about, I want to say maybe 2005, 2006 is like the time frame that I was still collecting them. Anything that's come out since like say '06, I couldn't even tell you. I haven't done what's up 805. What's going on, man? I haven't even I haven't even opened the boxes since then, to be honest with you. I haven't even flipped through the books that I have with all the cards in them and everything. But yeah, it's just the amount of stuff I have between cards and comics, and I don't have that many like the figurines. Like the what do you call them? Like the action ones. I'm looking at one right now. It's Amari Cooper sitting up there. I've got him. I've got a Howie Long. I've got a Stabler. They're all still in the packages except for that one. That one's not. Um, shit, I got a Barry Sanders character, a figure, and then I've got a what do you call it? I got a Troy Aikman and Emmett Smith one combined together in one in another case. I still have a box of Wheaties with the cereal still in it, sealed, never opened. Now with Barry Sanders on the cover, I have that one. Um, I actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think I still have one with Bruce Jenner when he was still a guy. I think I still have that one too. Let's see. I use my cards on my bicycle for that motorbicycle. I'll tell you one thing I'm pissed at. When I was a kid, my mother at some point still fucking irks me. Wait till I tell you this one. Throw every single one of my fucking Matchbox cars and Hot Wheels years ago, and I had fucking tons of them. All gone. All gone. Pissed me off. Wish I still had those now. Some of those things would be worth fucking money too. because there were some fucking weird ones in there. Mayock came out and said he'd take Genty at 6 for the Raiders. Well, good thing he's not the GM anymore. Thank fucking God. I said this last week. We were talking about GMs and such. I respected Mayock when he was like, on there as a commentator and giving his opinions on, you know, players where they should be drafted and, as an analysis on players and everything. Um, but man, he was a horrible GM. I'm sorry. I mean, you would have thought that he would be a good evaluator of talent and, making some of these picks that you listened to him do for years on ESPN or NFL Network or whatever one he was on. Man, he came to the NFL as a GM and it was just a fucking disaster. You know, it's like, dude, heed your own warnings from what you talked about on your damn shows. He did take, well, yeah, I'll give him that one. He did take Jacobs, but Jesus Christ, you know, Gruden had more to say though. Yeah, did you see the interview with Gruden and Max when they were talking about when they drafted him and everything? And it was the equipment manager or the groundskeeper? Somebody kept hounding Gruden to take him, to take Max. And Gruden said, I credit him for wanting to take you. It was because of him that you're on this team. So that was kind of funny. I like Gruden on the shit he's doing now because I think he's hilarious on there. You know, I just I'm glad he's not back with us. I couldn't do a third go around with him. I know that was another name that kept getting kicked out there. Thank God. You know, no, no. I'm happy. I'm in a good mental place with where the team's going. And how the team's looking going forward. Now the draft is going to be another thing. This is Spytek's first draft as an actual GM. Having a major say on what's going to happen and who we're going to take. But a true GM will listen to the words or the names that the head coach wants, not necessarily what Tom Brady wants as the part owner. It's like you want this guy to come in and run your team as the head coach, then you need to let him. Not saying he's not doing this, but I'm just saying this in general. You need to let him, meaning Pete Carroll, you know, decipher who they want, who is the best fit for the offense that him and Chip Kelly are going to put out there, or who's the best defensive player that him and Patrick Graham are going to put out there on this, with that scheme that they're going to run. You can't have Tom Brady come in here and say, "No, you're taking Shedeur Sanders because that's who I want." If he doesn't fit what they're going to do, then what's the sense in taking somebody that's not going to work out? You're only going to You're gonna do the same shit we used to do in the past, where we're taking players that we have no right taking because it's just not gonna work. I just don't see Shedeur Sanders as that guy. It's unfortunate that we're still talking about this because it's still very real that we could end up with him. You know, or Genty. I don't think Genty's the answer for us at number 6. I'm sorry. This if there would have only been like maybe 2 or 3 running backs that were worth the shit in this draft and we needed a running back, okay, now I get it. Yeah, number 6, okay, I'm good with us having to take a running back at that point because the other 2 probably won't be there when we pick again. Got it. I'm good. We'll take it. But when there's this many running backs in this draft that are still going to be able to come in and help this team and be a part of this team and, push us over the edge compared to what our running back room looked like last year, then we don't need to jump the gun at number 6 and take a running back. Everybody just wants Genty because it's the new shiny object that everybody's slating us to take. So everybody's jumping on board with that narrative. It's prefabricated nonsense is what it comes down to, in my opinion. When you can get a cornerback that we need, or we can go and get that top wide receiver, you know, or a linebacker. We can get the top linebacker. We can get the top any other position that's going to help us right now versus a running back, which there are plenty of in this draft that we can take that will be just as good as grabbing Genti. And anybody that's calling Genti generational talent, I'm sorry. I don't know what the fuck you're going on about. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I've seen it twice so far. I've seen Barry Sanders, and I would have to say right now, currently we're living in it, is would be Saquon, because I think Saquon is just that guy. It's unfortunate that he got stuck with the Giants for a few years, on a shitty team that just wasn't suited for him and wasn't ready to win. Comes over to the Eagles. They were ready for him. They needed him. He was that final piece they needed. And guess what? Fucking killed it. Rushed for over 2,000 yards on the season. Wins a Super Bowl. I mean, he did exactly what everybody thought he could do with a real team. I mean, if the Giants was set up right, the Giants could have won a Super Bowl already. Their best shot to do it when they had Saquon was that year they made the playoffs when Daboll was a rookie head coach. That's the season they should have done it. They just still, even then, weren't ready. They made the playoffs. Nobody expected them to make the playoffs that season. They looked good. Everybody thought that, hey, they got something going. And then they shit the bed after that. They were a shitty ass team. Let's see. I think Gruden had us in the right direction, though. That last year offense was fucking rolling. Carr was number one QB. Offense. Oh, yeah, I agree with that 100%. And then we hired McDumbass, and he came in and tore that shit down. He took a playoff team and fucking dismantled it. It's just. I still am bothered by the fact that we let Carr go, and your thought process for replacement for Carr was Jimmy Garoppolo. I know everybody said, well, he wanted Tom Brady, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, that's what you get for putting all your eggs in one basket, and then that basket, the bottom breaks out of it and everything spills out. Tom Brady wasn't going to come here at that point. He was at that retirement point. He'd been there, done that. He was done. So it's like he wasn't going to come here. I guarantee he wasn't going to come here. And if there was any talk that he definitely was going to come here, somebody's talking out their ass. But it's like, so if you don't get Brady, your choice is to go with Jimmy Garoppolo. You couldn't have found anything better than him. I don't know who was still available at that point in free agency. I mean, we'd have to go back and look and figure that one out. Who was still available? Off the top of my head, I couldn't even tell you. I've kind of wanted to forget the last 3 years of this team, as far as talent that we brought in, talent that was available that we didn't bring in, talent that we had here. The last 3 years, as far as I'm concerned, I would just want to block them out because they just weren't 3 good years. They really weren't. This past year was probably one of the worst I've seen, and it might rank right up there with the worst, other than Shell's second go round and his 2-14 team. That was fucking pathetic. Should have had Carr and Jimmy compete for QB. If anything, Carr wasn't having it either way with McDaniels in his play call. No, he was setting fucking Carr up for failure. There's no two ways about it. And you got pissed when Carr fucking pulled an audible on that game that they won. They win, and you look over at McDaniels, and he just looks so pissed off on the sidelines. You would think that Carr just threw a pick six and they lost the game on it. No, they won the game because of the play that he just made, and it just why are you pissed off? I don't fucking get it. McDaniels, he's a good offensive coordinator. I'm not going to say he was a great offensive coordinator. He was a good offensive coordinator for the Patriots, but how much of that was because Tom Brady was there and what Tom Brady possibly did as the QB for that team at that time? We all know that he was a horrible fucking head coach. He went to Denver and that team was just fucking garbage. I wish Denver never would have fired him because that would have been great having to play against that shitty ass team for multiple years. Denver could have kept him. I would have been fine with Denver keeping him. But then we bring him in as the head coach. And again, that was Mark Davis trying to get that Patriot mystique, whatever you want to call it, to rub off on, or become part of Raider culture. And that just wasn't going to happen. And I've said this before too, that press conference, the first one that they had with him and Ziegler, that looked so forced and so phony, that press conference when they hired him. It just, it looked so fake. Like they shouldn't have even been there type look. I mean, it's like they look like deer in the headlights. It's going to be the Raider way, and the Raider Nation. It's like, shut up, dude. You shouldn't even be allowed to say Raider Nation. You're a fucking horrible head coach. Absolutely one of the worst. McDaniels will let Cobb change the play at the line. Cobb was fantastic. Oh, yeah, fantastic. With Gruden because he let Cobb run the show. Pretty much. I feel if Cobb would have been on the same page with him, good chance he would have stayed. Yeah, I think so too. But that's not the way he saw it. See, he was of the McDaniels is that mentality of I'm the coach, you shut up, you do what I say, no questions asked, plain and simple. You can't be a leader of men if you're going to act that way. I mean, you got to do it with some tact. Um, you got to do it with some grace and humility too. I mean, you can't treat these guys like this. They're grown ass men. You know, what's up, Izzy? With the head coach Pete Carroll, we win the Super Bowl over the hate Kansas City shit. Hell yeah, baby. I hope so. That would be fucking great. I love every minute of it. We can only hope at this point. Yeah, he's a piece of shit. He was a fucking horrible coach. What's up, Dylan Holmes? Yeah, dude, I'm not gonna lie. You fucking the Bears did what they needed to do. They showed up that offensive line for sure. I mean, Jesus Christ, they needed to get someone in there to help protect that investment in Caleb Williams, and they definitely did that. You know, on paper they did. Let's see how they all play together on the field, but I don't think you're gonna have too many worries. You know, it's gonna be that division's gonna be interesting now. Because think about it, Detroit. Detroit had to fill in with a new OC, a new DC. The Bears have a new head coach that was the former offensive coordinator for the Lions. Vikings didn't change anything; they stayed the same. Packers haven't changed much; they pretty much stayed the same. So that division is going to be interesting. Do I think Detroit's going to run away with it again? Probably not. You know, some people don't realize sometimes that head coaching changes like that, man, they take an effect on the team. And now you lost both your coordinators. So both sides of the ball are taking a big hit. You know, as a Raider fan, are you happy the Eagles blew out the Chiefs? Oh hell yeah! I don't think you're gonna find any Raider fan that was happy that was upset that the Chiefs lost. I can't imagine you finding anybody out there that's going to be like, oh, no, the Chiefs should have won that. Unless they fucking put money on the game and they lost a shit ton of money. But shame on you for fucking betting on the Chiefs. Fuck them. I just got a message. This can't be real. It is. Nate just sent me we got a chat in the Raider connection. He goes, what my girl sends me, she's watching at the airport. It's a screenshot of her laptop on her phone of this show right here. She's watching this on her laptop and sent it to Nate. Oh my god, that's fucking funny. Oh, that's fucking rich. Uh, to respond to it. That's fucking funny. So, all right. So we were at an hour and 15 minutes here. So I think I'm gonna call it. It's been about 2 hours. So if I come back on today, it's gonna be because I'm streaming a game. What game? I don't know yet. But I have for shows this week. Wednesday night is the Raider Connection. It's myself, LV Raider 10, Jay from Just Raiders Baby, and Leo from Cheeto Linus. Wednesday nights at 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. Don't think we have any guests as of right now. I'm not sure. Thursday night is Raiders Coast to Coast with myself and Nate, LV Raider 10 on Thursday night. Same time frame, 10 o'clock Eastern time, 7 o'clock Pacific. Friday night, Turf should be back on Friday nights for the Friday night pull up that he used to do. I've been covering for the last couple of months. I would say I've been doing it. The Friday night lives. So this Friday night, Turf should be back. It'll be the same format it always has been. Usually, like the first hour or so, is just him and usually Rundown or myself. And then he opens it up to allow other people in. But Saturday night, Raiders Last Call podcast with myself and Chris for Raiders. Make sure you guys get over and check his channel out. Chris, if you want to post your channel again, go for it, brother. And along with Rundown's dad, Papa Rundown, we're going to continue what we were supposed to do this past Saturday night. So it'll be defensive linemen and linebackers this weekend through the history of the Raiders. Again, it's not talking about our current draft picks or our current coaching issues or player, free agency, who got cut. It's all about the history of the Raiders. We're trying to educate you youngsters a little bit more so you're aware of some of the ins and outs of the history of the Raiders that you might not have known about. I mean, there's been stuff I've picked up, since being on the show with Chris and Papa Rundown. But that will be Saturday night, 9 o'clock Eastern time, 6 o'clock Pacific. That's pretty much it. If I pop on here and there throughout the week, I may do another live pop up later on this week, especially if anything breaks, I'll be on. But any other time you see me on during the day, make sure you check out. I'm going to put it up here real quick. Let me get this for you guys. Where the fuck did I put it? Oh, I didn't put it in here. God dang it. All right. So here is the link for it. It's in my bio description if you're looking for it. I made a new YouTube channel. It's going to be strictly for online gaming and streaming. So it's East Coast Raider Gamer. I even made a logo for it too. So when I stream probably for the first month or so, I'm going to stream on both channels, my original Booster Club channel and that one until that one starts to populate a little bit more. So if you guys go over and hit the subscribe, the notification, that definitely you want to hit the notifications for, because that could be a matter of I'm just sitting here and I stop playing and I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to just go live, So, I've got Tecmo Bowl, I got Madden, I have a Steam account and I have Xbox Live and I have access to a shit ton of games. I play World of Warships on there too. So if there's any games anybody wants to play, I'll gladly play with you. If I don't have it downloaded, I'll download it as long as it doesn't cost me. If I have to buy it, then that's a little different. I may have to hold off until I can afford it. But I've got at least a couple hundred games, different games I can re-download or I already have downloaded in. So definitely check that channel out. I've got a few streams on there already, so which is probably what I'm going to do like in the next hour or so. Stop playing because I'm bored. I will be bored. I'm not bored right now because you guys are still here. So on that note, I'm signing off. You all have a good evening. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you all. And until next time, go Raiders.